Yo, this is your boy. Yo, this is your boy, the Omega Katana here, and it's good to be back making new episodes of the podcast again. And before we begin, let me introduce my good old friend and fellow guest, the Makenshi Critiques. Sorry about that. Hello.
Yeah, sorry. You want me to reintroduce? Yeah, sorry. This is Makenshi Critiques. Most of the people in the chat, I think, know. So
Yes,
too
just
old.
just for those who stumble upon here, that just
Yeah,
wanted to
so
do
yeah, Makenshi
tradition.
Critiques. I just do anime live reactions. Though I've been on hiatus for about 3 months because I got burned out on anime. So you probably the last vid that I did was 3 months ago because anime just started to bore the hell out of me. So I'll be back soon, but yeah, I've been on a hiatus.
I feel you do. I watch random animes here or there, but like an episode or two. But a lot of them tend to bore the hell out of me because of the tropes I'm used to now, and they're
Yeah.
overused again and again and again.
Yeah, they repackage the one genre and they repackage the same formula. You know, everyone blames them. Like all I ever hear from weebs, like people who primarily prefer watching like Japanese anime or Japanese content over like American, is like MCU, MCU, MCU. Like oh, MCU, Marvel shit. It's true. Marvel has a really dull,
Formula.
repetitive formula, but I think the kind of modern isekai and shonen stuff has the same exact thing, but nobody wants to measure that by the same standards. So
Yeah. Can I add one thing to it? I just discovered. Remember one of your. Remember, I was in your group, and I actually some dude stumbled upon some about Japanese workers cleaning up the dead, and I was looking through the comments of the video while I was watching it, and some guy referenced somebody a manga called Death Sweeper, which is about people who clean up dead bodies,
yeah,
and it's a pretty good read. I know you don't like watching some.
yeah.
I know the
Dude,
chat
I mean,
saying,
for me, it's much harder. Like there was a time where I would have read manga, like I would have, but it's it's hard enough for me to get like find two good animes in like several years, and so the time, so I try to go out my way to check stuff out, anime wise, just in case I'm missing out on something. I was in that phase of reading manga, but I don't know if I can like I've got the bandwidth to like take every recommendation for manga. I've got
yeah,
like a page full, like a Word document full of like recommendations for
damn.
manga. And
And it's not appealing to you reading a comic book and
yeah,
evil
for
Mr.
me,
Evil. Yeah.
reading it digitally is not appealing. You know when Marvel decided to put all their comics digital? They like like PlayStation Network or had apps like PSP and PS
Yes.
Vita had apps, the Marvel Comic Reader or something. Like
Yeah.
ever since they went digital, I just couldn't bring myself to read it. There's something about holding a physical, piece of
Comic book.
media. Yeah. So
Yeah. And what Mr. Sorry to interrupt, but Mr. Evil 198 says psychopath documentaries over anime.
definitely, yeah.
Because basically
Definitely.
it studies it's about a document a person a psychopath's way of doing crimes. I'm not a big fan of them, as my mom is a huge fan of like murder mysteries and psychological thrillers and whatnot.
Yeah.
But seriously, documentaries are better than anime these days. But the main
Yeah.
meat pie about this episode here, besides me saying, "Ooh, yo, this your boy Omega Katana being back here," it's not just that, but also when I came across Makenshi's stream on the last story, and he went ballistic to the point he just dropped the game and streamed the ending on YouTube. At this rate, if you don't know what
Yeah.
I'm talking about, Mackenzie will probably post it on his Twitter page or something like that, because it is. He went on a rampage.
Like I wish I could say that this was just that game, but the whole reason why I think it's okay like to do a podcast about it is because this is a problem with Japanese games, man. Like RPGs in particular. Like I can't
Yup.
speak for like Armored Core or these other genres and whatever it is, but when it comes to JRPGs, it's just a fucking problem, man.
Yup.
This whole last act padding, difficulty spike bullshit. Tales does it a lot. The Tales games
Yup.
do it a lot. Last Story does it.
Health
Bunch,
sponges, I call them. And
yeah,
because sorry to interrupt you, but this relates to your statement here. I was playing Final Fantasy IV yesterday, and I was at the lunar submerged, aka the moon, the moon boss in Final Fantasy IV, the final boss, Ziomus dungeon, and the
yeah,
difficulty spiked. It was
yeah.
I'm at the right level, and then at the final last leg of the dungeon, there was these boss. I was fighting behemoths, which in Final Fantasy IV was basically a boss in itself, and I was fighting these boss-like enemies as random encounters, which is basically the difficulty spike, which I cannot stand in video games at all.
But with see, at least with FF4, you just your damage output. It's all down to just you squeezing out a little bit more damage, uh, and it was the spike's there, but at least you expect the spike to be kind of comparable with what you've been fighting, like just like 1 hour before, 2 hours before. I feel like every now and then you get just random like forget the spikes. Japan just runs out of ideas. They just keep going and going and going. You like you don't need this boss to have like 6 phases. Like for the viewers, I came off Wild Arms 3, which was recommended by Tony. You know Tony in the Twitter group.
Yeah,
He recommended Wild Arms
yeah,
3. It's a
Tone
great
and
game.
whatnot.
Yeah, and that had like 8. Like I say, it had 8 bosses at the end, without with no gap in between. There was no saving in between. You had to
Eight
fight 8 bosses
bosses.
in a row, and if you died, you get taken all the way back to your previous save. That was fine because it incrementally built up to like the end one, and it made sense. But these Japanese games, man, and people give them a pass. What like you? I want to ask you, Omega, because you have a fondness for Japanese stuff, right? Why do you
Yeah,
think people give it a pass? Japanese
because
anime,
one,
Japanese manga, JRPGs.
can I say this? Because basically, it looks different. It looks cool. It looks exotic and unique. It's not in the West at all. Like it's something foreign. You see, imagine if you see like a prayer rug or a samosa, and you like
Yeah,
it, and you praise the samosa. It is better than French fries. It's that exactly. That's what it is. The foreign effect.
yeah,
And ever since the guy eating the samosa due to his Indian or Desi friend, he began to bash American fries, even the good ones from a rest fast food joint called Checkers, which they make good
yeah,
fries, American joint anyway. And he was bashing all the even the best fries without even trying them. Like, man, these
yeah,
fries are dull. Why they don't have like a samosa, which have it's cheap and it has potatoes and meat in them,
yeah,
and chutneys beside except for yeah, you know what I'm getting to.
yeah,
With video games, it comes with gameplay and character design mostly, and
yeah,
OST, which is soundtracks, which most American devs don't tend to focus on because they tend to be because mostly in Japanese games the soundtracks tend to have like different genres of music in it, over designed character designs, which I kind of like, guilty
yeah.
pleasure, and peeps got no culture, so they obsess over exotic weeb town. Yes, but that's just for the person who has like an anime girl on the pic. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Ryan from the group. Yeah, Peeps got no culture,
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
can't see what is
So
the
let me just
obsess.
get
Yeah,
started with back in England during the 1800s when he first discovered Indian culture, not the Indian people, the Indian culture, and how exotic the food is and whatnot. Correct me if I'm wrong with how the British first discovered Indian culture and Indian design,
yeah. They
but they don't
colonized
like their
us.
people.
Yeah, they just took all the good shit that we could
Yup,
offer them, took it back to England, fam.
took back to England, just like with African American culture when we
Took our
invented
labor, took our
blues. rock and
Yeah.
roll, jazz, swing, took it all and made it their own. They just stole it. And while they
Yeah.
disrespect the original creators and founders of the medium.
Yeah.
Don't want to get into like American history here because it's kind of like upsetting, but I want to get back to what you're saying, but with endings and video games and difficulty spikes, and it cheapens the experience to the point you don't want to touch it again.
Yeah. Look, here's the difference between like here's the difference. People think I'm like when I bash something right, Japanese and stuff. People say, yeah, but you're like that with One Piece. You're always taking the piss out of One Piece. You're always taking the piss out of this and that. And I think the difference between me and them is when I'm watching. I'll give you an example, like Miss Marvel, right? Like
Yes.
just a typical MCU TV show. I'm watching Miss Marvel. When I'm watching Miss Marvel, I'm not thinking in the back of my mind, this Miss Marvel show would be better if like Joe Pesci from Goodfellas is killing off a few characters. You can't subconsciously compare. People don't watch shit subconsciously trying to compare to the best of the best of the good fella like Nandi. Like I know someone called Nandi. He's always comparing fucking everything to Goodfellas. If something isn't Scorsese or Goodfellas, it's not worth watching. Sometimes I just watch shit to turn my brain off, right?
Yeah.
So there are people like that who subconsciously are so elitist that they're always trying to compare everything to LTGH or always trying to compare it to Goodfellas or Scorsese films. I'm not like that. But where I do draw the line is where you've got like 7 million shonen out there. There's obviously gonna be ones that are better than others. So then you can kind of take the piss out of this or that and the other, like that sort of thing. But I would never just go into like One Piece or something and go, oh man, this is shit. Look how cringe this dialogue is compared to Goodfellas. Like this is not how fucking normal people act. It's only people on Twitter who are like weebs and shit. They act like that, where they like peak fiction and it's not as good as this and that. That sort of elitism. So for me, when I take the piss out of JRPGs being like this, it's only because I've played so many of these fucking things that I think to myself, fucking hell, why does Japan continue to make these same mistakes and they keep getting applauded for it? And they keep doing it because they keep getting applauded for it. And people say, oh, this is amazing, man, this is amazing shit. Persona 5, everyone loves Persona 5, the original one, but
Prefer
everyone's
four.
forget that, yeah, that last fucking dungeon, which was just like pointless. Like that, just uninspired, bland, no art design, nothing, shit dungeon. Wild Arms 3 had the same issue, repeating fucking bosses and shit like that. Fucking FF's become that now. Last couple
Yep.
of FFs have just been ridiculous. And it's because, like you say, it's the exotic art design, it's the anime, it's the shipping, it's the husband or the fucking K-pop
Waifu.
looking guys.
The
The pretty
K-pop
colors
looking
and shit.
guys. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry about that. K-pop looking guys.
yeah.
Got a point
Even
there.
FF16's getting a pass. Every single person I've seen on podcasts reacting to FF16 trailer that they showed at
Oh
the
my
state of play,
god.
yeah, it's like nobody's mentioning the fact that it's Devil May Cry. No one's mentioning the fact it's pretty. The action looks so crazy. They're like, they all they're responding
Where the
to
parties?
is the where the parties. But they're just looking at how great the action looks. Oh, the big
The
summons, the
action.
kaiju battles. Weebs
Kaiju
pretend like
battles.
they're discerning. They're really discerning between quality, but they're not. You just give them big giant fucking kaiju battles and colorful fucking anime looking characters. They're happy, fam. They go to sleep happy. They don't even they don't even give a shit if there's no parties. It's a completely different genre. This is what I mean. This is why I never listen to people who put like Japanese like stuff on a pedestal. Usually, when
Yeah.
you probe into them and talk to them a bit more, you realize how cultureless these fucking people are. Half the
Yeah.
people I know are just cultureless. They know nothing. They know nothing about the news. They know nothing about books. They know nothing about things outside of this. So
Yup. I used to be that weeb person. I used to be that weeb till I discovered, listened to your advice, went out to watch some Asian kung fu flicks thanks to my parents. Also
nice.
read some books, looked up on current events, but that got me depressed. No lie.
That's true.
I was used to be really into the news. I love history still though. But
Yeah.
let me just say that about Final Fantasy 16, my personal opinion here, people, for those who are here, I'm not that interested in it unless I see more of it. because all I'm seeing is this Devil May Cry gone Final Fantasy Tactics slash Final Fantasy Versus 13 because of the tone it's giving with the crystals and the darkness and the teleportation. That's why I compared Versus 13 because Noctis teleports and whatnot, and
Yeah.
in the Godzilla movie, that's nice. Where's the party? The party helps brings charm to JRPG, seeing a bunch of random strangers come together to fight a super powerful evil or some sort. And we don't even get that in Final Fantasy 16. Because basically in Final Fantasy 16, all I'm seeing is we got this kaiju minigame, this Growlancer, Langreaser, if you guys heard of those classic strategic games that are only released in Japan, with the wars, which I'm seeing in a glimpse of a trailer, and the fast, frantic Devil May Cry combat. Where's the party? Because the party system in those games help diversify the
Do you know
gameplay
the
and also
yeah?
and
You,
also
you know the
the yeah yes.
sorry to interrupt you. You know the amount of mental gymnastics that's going on lately, where like I'll give you an example. Like when they show the RE4, this is two examples I'm gonna give you where suddenly it's fashionable to shit on something that you've been praising up until the moment. So when RE4 remake trailer came out, everyone talking about how good it was, even though they didn't show nothing. It had a Zack Snyder filter on it. Everything was dark. You can't see shit, right? Everyone
Yep.
started saying, "Oh, you know, RE4 was great, but it was too bright and colorful and stuff." I've never once
What?
heard that. I've never heard
Never
the
heard of that before,
argument that
man.
RE4 was too bright and colorful until this very moment where you suddenly saw the new thing, and
You
you were
hate
like
it?
that meme where the guys with the girlfriend, sorry, the guys with
Yeah.
the girlfriend, and he's looking back at the other girl. That sort of
Yeah, I
meme
heard
is
about that one.
happening now.
Yeah, that's what exactly.
Just like now that fucking FF16's Devil May Cry, everyone's saying, but isn't Devil May Cry technically an RPG? I'm like, dude,
No,
whenever
it's
has
not.
anyone ever called Devil May Cry an RPG? This is the mental gymnastics that goes on every time a new thing comes out. Just like the
Yeah,
anime community, every time a new thing comes out, something that's 2 weeks old
they
is
dump it.
suddenly like yesterday's news, like last
Yeah.
month's news, or out of
Hmm.
fashion. It's fucking retarded, man.
Yeah. Because basically what I'm seeing is this mental gymnastics, like you bring it up here, and people being like the nostalgia critic and angry video game nerd. The angry video game nerd's alright, but the nostalgia critic and his ilk trying to be all elitist, like it's old now. Let's dump it, even though let's dump Last of Us, and for the Last of
Yeah,
Us remake, that doesn't make any freaking sense. And Final Fantasy a DMC being a JRPG, and it's not a JRPG. There's no levels in Devil May Cry. You
exactly. Yeah,
kill demons to get gems or souls to buy upgrades and whatnot. That's an action game, not a hack and slash beat 'em up. That's not no freaking JRPG or a role playing game in general.
yeah,
And these people don't even have lit the patience to actually critique and analyze media these days.
yeah.
They don't know character
This,
development. They don't know character growth. They don't have patience for slow pacement for like giving characters room for explosion. Sorry about that word. Not explosion. Exposition. I meant. Sorry about that.
yeah,
They don't know any of that. The hero's
yeah.
journey. And you ever heard these recent films and whatnot or sequels that writers these days tend to undo all the things that the hero and his allies have done. I
Dude,
know they're
this
trying to.
I was just about to
This is
say.
cheap,
I was
man.
literally just about to say. Even in fucking movies, every new film is about apologizing for the previous ones. It's always
Yeah.
about saying, "Oh, we were really short-sighted back then." Ghostbusters came out. There were little scenes in the new Ghostbusters film which were apologizing for stuff that happened in Ghostbusters 1. Oh, we realized that Venkman, what's his name, Peter
I'm not a fan
Venkman
of
was fucking
Ghostbusters.
yeah, Peter Venkman was a sexist and stuff. The new Star
Who
Wars comes
cares?
out. It's all about apologizing for the past. Oh, it's been dominated by white males. Blah blah blah. The Jedi Code is bullshit. Blah blah. It's all about apologizing for the past. I'm like, dude, leave the past alone. Just create something fucking
Let
new
it
for me.
die. Like
Yeah,
let Kylo Ren says, even though the sequels are lame. Let the past die and bury it. It's over. You learn from history, not apologize for being it's all filled with white males. Excuse me, the white males wrote that story in the first place, dude. Don't try to
Resident Evil
trash their
4,
legacy.
when Resident Evil 4 VR came out, they had to apologize for the original Resident Evil 4. All
Why?
of Leon Kennedy's codec calls with Hunnigan, they cut that out because they said, "Oh, that's sexist." Like, I'm like, what?
What? That
Like,
doesn't make sense.
nobody thought this back when we fucking
No.
played these games. Nobody thought stuff from the 90s and 2000s was this or that. You know, like it just
Exactly.
was the it was the time.
Soft.
I'm fine with
Soft, dude.
times changing, but
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't just go and
You can't.
redact. It's like revisionist history, right? You go
Yeah,
back and
exactly. I
scrub
hate that
history.
trope.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what it is. Revisionist history. Like basically, you're scrubbing history to fit your own agenda. And yes, I'm
yeah,
comparing a history book to a video game from like made from 2004 or five, but this is like an old product from that time, and that people love, and you're scrubbing it, making changes to it just to fit the times. No, no, no. It stays in that era. But let me just
yeah.
say that, sure, a lot of peeps don't learn from history. Lol. Exactly. They want to scrub history. That's what they do.
Dude, like,
Because,
Song of the South, the Disney film Song of the
yes,
South, right?
yeah,
Zippity doo dah. Like, I'm fine. I know that film is fucking racist. Like, but it's a piece of history. Like, for
yeah,
you to go back and see just how fucked up and how normal it was to show, black people, you know, like that, and it
yeah,
depict that image of black people, right,
mhm,
as a piece of history, right? And
yeah,
you think to yourself, shit, thank God we're beyond those times. Because if you
yeah,
just go and scrub all the history, then you'll think that all of history has always been great. You know what I mean? If you
exactly.
need those as reminders to remind you that shit, it was only 50 or 60 years ago that it was like fucking normal to see this shit on TV. You scrub that shit, you get rid of it off the That's why I'm glad that Disney actually keep that film on. They put like a warning at the beginning of
Disclaimer.
the thing, but they
Like, basically, you don't, like, with this whole thing with, like, revisionist, like, I'm not one of those conservative types, but I'm, like, not digging the whole type of you need these new reboots, right? It's about history, but about
yeah,
reboot being horribly written, legacy franchises being ruined due to like horrible writing, due to like the writers only write what they write about, and they have not experienced outside their own circle. They haven't experienced
yeah,
extraordinary events, a loved one, a going into war, facing hardship,
yeah,
playing with people outside. You know, playing on Xbox on live isn't the same as playing outside with some friends and whatnot, with hide and seek and all the good times. But if you remember that, but
yeah. So
but
sorry, Vector in your chat is asking where did the nickname
the Katana
Mega,
burger,
Mega,
Mega Katana burger come from? Let me just tell you the Mega Katana first off, because basically, not Alpha wasn't taken. The Omega Katana meaning is like the Omega part was a name or a tribute of the Omega weapon from the Final Fantasy series. Because basically in this logo here, you see Insomnia in the background. There. And it's supposed to give off the Samurai versus 13 vibe to it because I love the games so much. That's how much the trailer impacted me. Just letting you know about that. And the katana is, I love Japanese samurai and whatnot.
yeah.
It's like
But
representing my
also,
weebness. Yeah.
yeah. But so also Kaiser found a American restaurant called Omega Burger.
Omega
So
Burger.
he fused a Mega Katana Burger.
Mega Burger. Hey, want some fries with that? There's some seasoned fries. We got some
Yeah,
like various burgers and whatnot, but
yeah.
it's only a burger and fries joint. I'm sorry, but but that's how the Omega Katana name came to be, for sure. That's the short story of it.
That's dope. If you opened a restaurant, a Mega,
Yeah,
would you call it a Mega Katana Burger?
the Omega Katana Burger. Let me think about that. I'll be more because I like
That would be a good
cooking,
name for
but
a burger, like your
Omega
special,
Katana
whatever your
Burger.
special burger
The
is. What
Omega
do you call it?
Katana. You got
Yeah,
3 thick patties, with cheese on each middle. This is totally American. Lettuce, tomatoes, onions, with a size of the of extra large fry and an extra large pop or soda, whatever you call it in England, which you
Yeah,
call soda there,
yeah,
but or chips or seasoned chips or whatnot. But it's a totally American thing that most Americans will find disgusting.
yeah,
Wakasashi, no, no, that doesn't roll off the tongue as the Omega Katana. Here, yeah,
love it, love it.
yes, it's an American thing. Americans love their hamburgers. That's why we're all freaking fat.
Yeah,
America's the only one of the only countries where the fast food is cheaper than the vegetables and fruits. No lie.
they want it that way, man. They want to
Yeah,
pump everyone full of the chemicals and the
the
carcinogens.
chemicals and the lab ingredients, and it tastes
Yeah,
good. It's like a drug.
yeah,
So, anyways, about before we went to the short origin of the name, but 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 the whole thing with Doctor Who and your Star Wars, I'm not a big fan of Doctor Who, but I'm really upset with their fans of how horribly written they are these days.
yeah.
Isn't Doctor Who
Everything's
about
horribly written nowadays.
yeah? Because
Everything's a
basically
more
what I said
horribly written version of what came before, man.
exactly, they keep repeating the same old stuff, adding like Sex in the City or Andy Warhol films. If you heard about that guy, no
What
Woody
the
Allen,
art?
Woody Allen,
Or
Woody
Woody
Allen.
Allen?
Sorry
Yeah,
about that. Yeah, type of films, and instead of
dude.
that,
He
yeah,
he married his daughter-in-law, who was like a
ew, I heard about
Japanese, and
that.
she was
Asian,
like, yeah, age difference between was like 40 years or something. Yeah, she's
ouch. Okay.
Japanese.
Oh
His
my god,
daughter-in-law, not
gross.
daughter-in-law, stepdaughter. Sorry,
Oh, gross. That's just as bad, but that's gross, man.
he's a weeb. You
Only
can tell he's a fucking weeb.
yeah, Omito type love the sister types. Ugh,
Yeah,
hate that trope. But anyways, if you paid attention, it's always about my politics. They insert like buzzwords that will date in like 5 years, and the characters are so unlikable. This is what, for example, look at Street Fighter Six. And yes, it's over designed like an Overwatch. But
yeah,
look at Luke from 5 to now, which is an improvement. They're taking a new
definitely.
character that people didn't like before. They thought he was bland and ugly looking. To the point, yes, he's still this over designed and whatnot. They added details to him. They improved his character. They gave him a rival slash friend named Jamie who knows drunken kung fu, which is probably going to be, in my opinion, if Street Fighter Six releases, is going to be like the new version of Ryu and Ken. They're not going to replace the OG Ryu and Ken. They're the goats, but what people are missing are the characters that can carry the torch.
Yeah,
And look at Star Wars. They don't. This is how you do it wrong. And look at Street Fighter Six and what they are doing. Yes, wait. Street Fighter Six never came out. That's a bad comparison. But
yeah,
hear me out here. At least Capcom is trying some new ideas, from the art style to the gameplay with new features and whatnot, to like improving a previously disliked character for being bland looking to make him interesting.
yeah.
If you know
But
what I'm
so
talking
I just
about.
want to mention why is your boy Black D Sage getting upset over Chan Li not showing more
I
skin?
don't know, dude. I called him out on that.
Dude, why do you like? How did you get to know this guy? Like,
I
when did you first
basically,
meet this guy?
like a couple years ago, he was
Yeah,
pretty all right.
yeah.
Before he interacted with the weebs more, he was a pretty chill dude. We
Why
got the
does he hate?
same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
why
okay,
does he
can I
hate
continue?
communists so much? Like, why does he hate commies? Like, where did this come
Basically,
from?
it's a long story because basically, I don't want to get too political on this channel. I'll tell
Yeah,
you about that the other day, but for short, he was hanging out with the right wing crowd, and two, the how they think about it, how the commies think. I don't want to get all political here, but he was
yeah,
never a big fan of like modern liberalism.
yeah,
He's more of the old school type of liberalism, but not the one how commies like how the story of Russia, the story of China, how they oppress their people and whatnot.
yeah, yeah.
That's one of the
But
reasons
what's that
why.
got to do with him? There's plenty of people oppressing plenty of people around the world. It doesn't mean I suddenly become against it. Like,
No.
why? How does communism affect him personally? He keeps saying that there's a censorship conspiracy. I agree there's censorship now, but I don't think there's a commie censorship conspiracy.
He
I know
mostly
that
got.
Resi 4 has to remove shit. Sony's removing shit out of
Yeah.
games.
Can I
That
answer that question for you? Sorry to
yeah, go on.
interrupt, because it relates to your answer question. Because basically, he thinks about those being the left wing SJW nut jobs,
Yeah,
forcing their opinions on everyone and censoring things they don't like and revisioning it, which he cannot stand. It's a pet peeve of his.
yeah.
Just
But
going to
that's
the short version of it.
yeah. I mean, but that's not communism though. Communism is completely different. Even the Democrats barely socialist. You know what I mean? Like he's just it feels like a word that you Americans throw out whenever
Yeah.
it's like any ideology that goes against you know what you perceive as like the American way, the democratic, you
That's
know.
what it is.
Yeah. Chun-Li
But
looks better. Wait, oh sorry. Chun-Li looks better than ever in 3D. An actual human instead of a bundle of lumps. Yep, that's true.
yeah, I actually like Chun Li's look. She
I
looks
like your
like
point,
a
Omega. She's a
martial
mom, like you
artist.
say. She's a mother now, right? She's much older.
She's a mother figure and a martial kung fu master. Let me just
Exactly.
tell you, if you dress like a slut, everyone's gonna treat you like a slut.
Exactly.
Because especially with women, first impressions make everything.
Yeah,
Bubbles of lumps. And
it's true.
I
It's
like her
true.
look because it fits as a character.
Yeah,
She's matured now. She's teaching martial arts to children, which is a mother figure. She's like, I don't know Chun Li personally, but she's look like a person to kick your ass still.
I mean, I know people when they hear if you look like a slut, the people are gonna treat you like a slut. That sounds harsh to people, but if you
Yeah,
look at all the actresses in Hollywood that are talking about their lives 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, that's exactly what they're saying. They go, they
yeah.
made us look like sluts on TV. They made us do shit that we weren't comfortable with, and ever since then, people perceived us as this sensual, slutty sort of character. So we never got treated with any sort of respect. That's
Respect.
exactly what they're saying. So as harsh as it sounds,
It
it's
is
fucking
true.
true.
Because why? Because this is why in Islam it tells women to cover up. Because basically to not let the male gaze distract the
Yeah.
males
You
and to
see, it
prevent
reconciles with
rape.
our reality. See,
Yes,
we don't shy away from the reality, the harsh reality, the objective reality of life. The male gaze exists. Whether you're a guy that pretends to be a saint or you're like a sinner, like a degenerate rapist, whatever, the male gaze is a thing. No one's immune. The male men can pretend like the priests, like you know, Christianity does this a lot. Oh, look at this guy. He's a priest. He's celibacy, fam. He's like upstanding and shit. You know for a fact he's a man. He's a man. He's got the gays, fam. This is
yeah,
why they end up fiddling little boys, fam. So
yeah,
we don't fucking shy away from the objective reality of you know the men, right? So that's where it comes from, fam.
yeah. Moin, have you ever chance to read the
And
Quran? Every
and
Muslim reads the Quran, dude. It's like telling a Christian,
yeah,
"Yeah, he read the Bible."
Omega said that impulsively when we had that argument.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that one time. Have you read the? I was ballistic. Sorry about that, dude. Like I get really in some stuff. I get really heated. Sorry
Yeah.
about that. Like basic.
I'm not gonna lie, like as Muslims, we're inherently conservative. We just
Yeah,
are
exactly.
inherently
You're
conservative, but
conservative.
we're not retarded conservative like Christian conservatives.
No.
Like we know when we know that we have to compromise when we're living in other people's lands and we're
Yeah.
living under a secular society. These Christian
Hold on.
fucking
Oh.
conservatives, they don't believe in compromise. No compromise on abortion. No
Okay,
compromise on.
Active. Sorry about interrupting you. But I praise a lot right now. I'll be right back. Sorry about
Okay,
that,
no worries,
people.
no worries.
Okay, hold on. You can just talk with the chat in the meantime.
All right, cool. Fam, I've read it multiple times because I read the English translation multiple times. Most Ramadan I read them. But yeah, them LDS, yeah, there's the Latter Day Saints, the Mormons, fam. I have a whole essay. I can paste you it. I have about 4 or 5 pages of William pasting everything he could tell me about Mormonism. And I'm not gonna lie, I read all of it, and it was like Scientology. It was straight up Scientology. I mean, I can read the Arabic slowly because we got taught in Sunday school, like sorry, Muslim Sunday school to read. But for me, it's not about reading the language. It's about understanding what God tells us to do. This is the problem. This is something, Ryan, that if you ever hear a Muslim say, "What's the most important thing?" Right? It's to read it in the original language, fair, but it's to understand what you're being told to do. There are people that are who memorize the Quran, right? But they don't remember what it actually is telling you to do. Do this, do this, don't do that, listen to that. You have to understand what it's telling you. It's not enough to just like sing it beautifully and all that stuff. So you don't know how peeps be translating stuff. I mean, we don't have that problem with the Quran. There's only one standardized version. It doesn't translate differently. It doesn't really translate differently. Even when it does, it's just semantics. A different word used for like majestic, different descriptive or something. It's not like the 4 or 5 versions of the freaking Bible, the New International Version, the Russian Orthodox version, the King James version. There is nothing like that. So, what's the Sabbath day for a Muslim? Well, you guys don't have. We don't do we do Ramadan, fam. Sabbath was the old covenant with Israelites, fam. Yeah, not 1 million different. Like, that's one thing that even like my Sikh friend says he respects that about Islam, the solidarity. Like, we will always have pretty much the same answer, unless you're a Shia. Even if you're a Shia, usually we tend to agree on everything except 1 or 2 political related stuff, historical or political related stuff. But simple, fam. You're not gonna have one Christian saying, "Oh, Joseph Smith is the prophet," and then you got another guy saying, "Jesus is the son of God," but he's not God himself, and then another person saying, "Oh, Jesus is God," and he's like this sort of thing. People just don't do their research. Like, America's just naturally, inherently Christian at its base, so you see a lot of it on TV, documentaries, History Channel, Hallmark Channel stuff, like Sabbath, fam. I never understood that about Bible. Why take an important script? It's 400 years after Jesus. They couldn't understand certain things. They couldn't understand certain things about the Bible, so they decided to add stuff in. So Paul's letters, most of the mainstream Bibles today are all based on Paul's letters. A guy who never even met Jesus. A guy who they all call him an apostle, but they call Paul an apostle, even though Paul never was around when Jesus was alive. So circumcision used to be a thing. Then Paul took circumcision out of the religion for some reason, even though Jewish people still fucking circumcise. You think God would be consistent? This is why we have a big issue with Christianity. We believe that if let's just say God is real, let's just academically say if God is real, don't you think that God's message would be consistent? What he said 1,000 or 2 million years ago should be the same as what he's saying fucking 2 million years later. So it should be the same. You know what I mean? Like that you have to critique it. You know what I mean? So that's what it's about, fam. It means you believe in God, heaven, have a cross somewhere in your house. Yeah, the superficial aspects of religion is like trinkets and shit like that. That's not the most important thing, fam. Funny thing about Jesus is that even isn't his name. It's Yahweh. I mean, they don't have Christians don't have a personal name for God. They don't even have a personal name for God. Even Jews have multiple, like 2 or 3 names, like Hashem, different names for God, to describe his majesty and all that. Christians don't even have that. They've just taken to calling Jesus like God. man, Christians, man, like it's weird. Christians hate Muslims. Like the conservative Christians hate Muslims, but we actually share a lot in common, man, a lot in common. Which is shocking that the fight against liberalism is something that we should actually connect on, like Muslims and Christians, but we don't. The liberals love us, but they hate the Christians, which is fucking even more ironic. Christ, son. Christians don't have a name for God, but his name is Jehovah, which isn't even his name either. Is Yehovah. Yeah, they have weird names. New Testament doesn't have a single name for God. And Jesus doesn't even refer to the Aramaic for the God that Jesus referred to isn't even Jehovah or Jehovah. It's Elo or something. Eloh or Aloh, something like that. That's the Aramaic. Like when he was on the cross, that's what they say he said. He calls out to God, and he refers to him as something that isn't Jehovah or Jehovah. See, these people try to like misdirect you about what the actual book actually says. Like we used to read that and have discussions about it in like religious class and stuff. You know what the TV tells you and what it actually fucking says in the book, fam. Dude, I find that funny about Christians as well, how you criticize Muslims, but your own Bible says to not eat pork. But because Jesus died, that made that law bone. Yeah, that's what they say. You're as long as you accept Jesus, your sins, no matter what you do, your sins are like expunged, fam. It takes away personal responsibility for your actions, fam. In public sermons later in Smith's life, he began to describe what he thought was the true nature of the Godhead in much greater detail. LDS, in the endowment ceremony introduced by Smith in 1842, the name Elohim is used to refer to God the Father. Jehovah is used to refer to pre-mortal Jesus. See, this is what I mean. The convoluted nonsense. This is Kingdom Hearts crap. Abraham, Solomon, David, fucking Moses, none of these guys ever accepted Jesus or the Trinity as their personal God, and fucking Joseph Smith thinks that. Yeah. Nah, whatever God's in there, whatever the Israelites or the Jews referred to as God's name, the real freaking Torah was his name, fair, in their language. But God's real name is Allah, fam. Madmatt, sorry to tell you this. God's real name is Allah, fam. At least in Arabic. But he's got many names, so they're not even names as they are descriptors. Like, people don't understand this. They think that Allah is different to Jesus, is different to Yahweh. There is only one God, and he's everyone's God. He's not a Muslim God, or he's not a Christian God, or he's not a thing. He's just humanity's God, fam. Like, this is what I don't understand. It's not Hinduism where there's actual freaking pictures and it's not that. There is only one God. Like, people are put off by it because they think that it's an Arab God. Like, it's some Arab moon god. It's not true. It's everyone's God, fam. Oh, your God came here to put everyone in burqas, fam, and make you with towels on your head, towels, and those rings that you threw around in PE when you were in primary school, fam. You want everyone to. That's not the God, fam. You comment
Yo, the Omega Burger is back here. Yo, what's good, Matt? What's good, Solo?
That's what I just said. We actually are inherently conservative, mate. Solo, we're inherently conservative. As Muslim, we are. I admit it. We are inherently conservative, but like I say, we're not retarded conservatives. We know how to compromise. When we're living in secular lands, in other people's countries, we have to live alongside Sikhs, Hindus, Christians, Jews. We know how to compromise, fam. But we're not like retarded Christian conservatives who don't want to compromise on guns, don't want to compromise on abortion, don't want to compromise on things about compromise, fam. Like, I think people are more offended when they realize what you believe. They know what you believe as long as they don't have to hear it. That's what it is. So that's what compromise is, fam. As long as they don't have to hear it, like have it shoved down their throat, which is weird because we have liberal ideology shoved down our throat more than I don't go about my daily life shoving Islam down people's throat, but
No,
how much fucking liberalism do we get shoved down our fucking throat
like
every fucking day?
every day, every 30 minutes, every hour when you turn on
Dude,
NPR or any other
these liberals
CNN and
preach more
whatnot.
than the imam, fam. Dude, these
Yeah,
liberals preach more than the imam at my mosque, fam.
let me take that quote. The liberals preach more than the imam because basically that is true. They're not doing it for the good part. I don't want to be like this like anti-gay, but seriously, what they're pushing is not that good, and especially with freaking children being involved. They should not be involved with some of the stuff they be doing.
I mean,
I'm sorry. I don't.
we have to trust our kids to be smart enough to do their thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's not something that should be taught in school. We were so afraid. Like, we took religion out of schools recently. Like, teachers weren't allowed to wear crosses around their neck, anything
Wow.
that would identify you as specifically this or that. So why does the opposite have to be true? Why does all this ideological bent have to be shoved into education? It should be secular, right? Kids
Exactly.
will leave, graduate school, have relationships, do whatever they want, and they'll discover for themselves. That you don't need to teach that shit in school. Like what? Like it's like teaching heterosexuality in school. You don't teach that, fam.
Exactly. What these kids should be teaching is like how to like file taxes, how taxes work, how the important stuff like they don't teach you in school,
Yeah,
like pay bills, the taxes thing I referenced like twice. I got a whole podcast episode I'll be doing the other day that what the kids are not even learning in school. It's a shocker. I don't know what the hell they're teaching in England, but
yeah,
or the UK, but our schools kind of suck.
yeah. Your education system needs to be fixed up before they add
Big
shit to the curriculum. Yeah,
exactly. Monkey. Oh god, let's not get started with the whole what Mad Matt said. I was about to put him on the podcast if it's all right for you, because I DM'd you on privately on Twitter about he's a really
yeah,
cool dude here, but
yeah. I think I've been on. I think I've been on with madmatt. Yeah, the first one I ever did with you. I think. So, yeah, it's cool.
yeah, yeah, what he said that don't want to curse here because I got family here, because yeah, I got family here that want them to be cursing, but
Yeah,
really he got a point here. Like seriously, like it woke him up. Seriously, people used to be sleeping, now they're waking up.
yeah,
I'm not talking about the Christians. Probably some of the Muslims too that are acting up and say, "Hey, wait a minute, what the hell is this? Why I'm doing what I've been doing all this time?" Well, Allah woke them up. I don't know,
definitely. Yeah,
because I don't. Probably that will happen in real life as I speak. I don't know the Muslim brother or sister, but praise to Alhamdulillah if they woke up and say, whoa, 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 what the hell is this? What I've been doing? Why I'm lost? What I've been doing all this time? Person
yeah,
reads the Quran out of the blue one day, starts crying for no freaking reason.
yeah,
You know the feeling when a person reads the Quran and he's been in darkness and been like off the religion, not acting up, but not reading constantly, missing some prayers and whatnot, reads the
yeah.
Quran and starts to cry.
Exactly.
I know Bible, the Christians and the Christians with the Bible too start. Yeah, I know you have things with Christianity and whatnot, but when they picked up their book, they start to cry for some reason
Yeah,
because it's touching their heart. They're
exactly.
going back to the roots. Well, while you're young, you rejected it because you didn't understood it, you didn't ponder it, and
Yeah,
when you went back to it, it opened back. It opened your heart. You know what I mean? Because that happened to
yeah,
me before.
yeah. You just have to be sincere. I think a lot of people lack sincerity when they approach study.
Yeah,
Like there's some people will approach history. They'll study it with sincerity, with an open mind, but then they shut off. They have no sincerity when they study other other things.
yeah,
You know, I don't take the piss out of Scientology just because I've heard TV tells me to fucking
No.
take the piss. Like I've read up on it, I've seen documentaries. Like you realize it's a money making scam. You know,
Yeah.
they can believe what they want to believe. They can believe aliens put us here, or there was another Earth and then we got transported. They can believe what they want. But then there's the money fucking aspect of it, which is a core part of their fucking religion. Then I think nah. When you're trying to fucking defraud people, like poor people of their fucking money,
Yeah.
then you gotta be sus. Then you know it's a suspect. So
Suspect. Yeah, exactly, dude. But can we get back on the topic before we go
yeah,
about
yeah.
the whole and let me the whole endings of video games? Let me tell you about a short little story about a game I played on 360. It's a World War II shooter. There are plenty of those back in the day. It was a game by a British developer by the name of Codemasters, and it was a World War II shooter game where the Germans invaded America,
Yeah.
and you play as an American male that take back the country, Red Dawn World War II style.
Red Dot.
Really good game. No
Yeah.
lie, it's Red Dawn in World War II.
Yeah.
So basically, you play. It's a escapism, power fantasy empowerment game in World War II. So basically, you play as this dude, and it was a pretty fun game. Not like the right critics, but it's a pretty fun game. Till the ending where the difficulty freaking spikes to levels of SNK boss syndrome difficulty. And
Did yeah.
and I had to like cheese the game. Like basically cut through corners, like basically cut through corners because normally I go up and when you play a first person shooter, you just run, shoot, take cover, whatnot. I was getting hit in random directions without me even noticing. And plus the screen was dark, and it was at the moment where you have to rush to like the blimp or something before your objective escapes or a nuke or something to prevent its launch. You know where this is going, right?
Does your character sacrifice himself at the end?
Yeah, I believe yes.
I thought so. This is like every fucking World War movie where the Americans sacrifice, man. Like,
Yep, dude. I actually had fun till the ending. And the ending was so cheap, I was raging for hours. Like, man, screw this game. Once I turned it off out of like frustration. Like, screw this game, man. And when I finished it, I was like, never again. Happy, but I said, it's a fun game, but never again.
how long was the game?
It was short. Like, I beat it in like a couple sittings. Like a
Yeah,
week or so. Like a half a week or a week or so. This was in the 360 era.
yeah. But it's really
Yeah.
rare to see that in a West. Like you say, Codemasters is a British studio. But
Yes.
it's even though Western games lack creativity sometimes, which
Yeah.
Japanese games have, they're always at least safe. They're really safe games. Like the experience at the beginning is similar to the end.
Yeah.
But it's always Japanese games that fumble the ball at the end. It's like
Exactly.
everything. Resident Evil fucking 3 remake. It doesn't look like they knew how to end the game.
Yeah.
They don't even know how to create bosses. When at the end the boss makes no sense. There's no rhyme or reason to what the boss you fight at the end. Like, why does it look
Yeah.
like this? Why has it got these attacks? It just transforms into a giant blob and it's fucking. You have to shoot it like 20
Yeah.
million times.
Yeah. But let me hear you. That's a good point here. But also with games like Vanquish, they like the difficulty spikes like an SNK boss syndrome. Like basically
Yeah.
the last bosses in certain games, like in that one Codemasters World War II Power Fantasy game, the difficulty spikes to the point you have to make a strategy just to get through the level. And you have to rush at the end because if you do miss it, you will die or the mission fails because you run out of time. And
So what was this game your biggest rage quit? Like this game?
that and also Ninja Gaiden 2. It's not an
Oh
end
yeah.
boss. Ninja Gaiden 2, the original and its black versions, will make you rage quit.
Those games were cheap though. Ninja Gaiden 2 was cheap. I've played
Cheap,
Ninja Gaiden
cheap,
2.
dude. Cheap isn't the word. Let me show you a boss. I'll show you in the DMs. I
Okay.
haven't picked up the game ever since, and I rage quit. Do
Yeah.
you know that fire turtle boss in near the middle of the game? After you
Yeah, I
go,
remember. Yeah.
you rampage through killing soldiers like a badass in a air flying fortress,
Yeah.
and afterwards a giant turtle demon comes out of nowhere, gives me a hard time, died billions of times. When I got rid of its health bar, here's what the boss did. The boss basically self destructs, and I got no way to block it.
Yeah, I remember.
And I
I
was
remember.
so pissed off that I
Yeah.
just quit.
And you know what's
No
fucking
lie.
worse about that? You can if you do a successful beating bosses in Ninja Gaiden 2 successfully, you can literally kill them in like 30, 40 seconds if you're really
Exactly.
lucky. But
Yeah.
other than that, they just wipe your fucking health bar like
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah. But yeah. Once I was replaying Ninja Gaiden 2, I beaten the first spider mini boss, or the first spider boss, in seconds due to like that charging move you do. And I
Yeah, you
just
absorb
went
the
ape
yeah.
crap on the spider mutant like in seconds. And I was like, cool, man. Woo!
Yeah.
Yes, and then the stupid game gives you two of those same crappy bosses. Like they basically, oh yeah, that moment. And before you fought the big turtle Bowser looking Japanese turtle fire boss, you have to fight a badass Ninja Clan leader, Metal Gear Rising style, which is challenging in its own right. And no
Dude,
lie,
Rising
after
is
you
like
die,
yeah.
you go back to the ninja guy again. And I was like, screw this, man. I'm done.
Yeah.
Hate it when
It
they
was a
do that
fun
in
game with all
freaking
the
video.
dismemberment, but it was a cheap. It was like the cheapest
It
bosses in that
makes
game.
it makes SNK games look like Candyland. And don't with SNK games, I love my SNK games, but a lot of those bosses are cheap as hell. They're just made to suck your quarters or your little yen coins.
Yeah.
Rugo can go to hell. Gonets can definitely go to hell. Ignis from King of Fighters 2001 can go to hell. Murkaki from KOF 11 can go to hell. Akumusa
Arcade
from
the arcade version is always tweaked to suck your coins. Like they
yeah, you
always
can change
tweak
the
slightly.
versions in the emulated modes, but still, they can go to hell. I hate the last moments because it ruins the experience of the game. Yes, SNK needs to make their money back by having super hard bosses to suck quarters and yen coins out of players, but Candyland can get pretty rough. It's a saying that that game Candyland's all happy duty and all lighthearted with candy canes, cowberry candies all over the place, Reese's buttercups. Yes, but I mostly use it for comparison. For making it's like, for example, how dark, like Game of Thrones season 8 just single-handedly ruined the series like Last Story did with a game.
Yeah, it made people forget the good parts. And believe
Yeah.
me, when the good parts were good, everyone was praising that fucking
Raving
show.
it, praising it,
But a bad last season,
or
nobody
two.
cared. Yeah, nobody wanted to talk about all the good shit that came before.
Yeah. 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 It's pretty messed up, but endings are just as impactful as the beginnings. People get the middles right, but not the beginnings or the endings.
Yeah,
Most shonen
Last of Us
manga,
2 is
their
like that.
endings of them. Most of shonen anime and manga are pretty bland when it comes to endings, especially long-running series that ran for like 7 to 10 plus years. When I'm not talking about Kochi Kame or Gogo 13 here, but long-running series like Naruto, Bleach, and whatnot. But But Bleach was so bad that it actually has its anime canceled, and they're recently adapting the last arc of Bleach, which
Yeah,
I hope
October.
they added some freaking filler into that, because I heard from rumors the explanation of certain characters and whatnot was poor. I'm not lying.
Yeah, I heard a lot about the ending, but I try to avoid it because I'm gonna be watching the Bleach anime when it
Same
comes
here.
October.
I'm just watching the Bleach anime for nostalgia purposes, because I remember when I used to love Bleach like it's no tomorrow. Better than Naruto. I was hyped before when I was a teenager, and Bleach and One Piece. That's when
Yeah,
Shonen was king. Yes, Big Three era. Remember that, but
there was a time
seriously,
where Bleach really was beating Naruto for me, like
yeah.
consistently.
Same here. Ever heard of the Rukia, the Soul Society arc? Best arc, one
Yeah,
of the best arcs in Shonen ever. All the arc
definitely.
was about is to rescue Rukia from the Soul Society from being executed. That was the arc was all about. Not revenge, not to win in a tournament, not to be the best, but to save a comrade. That's what it
Exactly.
is. And we
Yeah.
got introduced to characters that actually mean business. Like, remember Renji from like the first arc where he whoops Ichigo? Not Renji. What's his name again? Forgot that guy's name. That has Sakura petals.
Oh,
You know
Sakura.
what I'm talking about? Rukia's brother,
Yeah,
foster brother, or something like that.
Kuchiki
Byakuga,
Byakuya.
which he whoops
Byakuya,
the
yeah.
floor out of him, which is good storytelling right there. Which you
Yeah.
show a strong character, our protagonist getting his butt whooped like you're wandering in a wrong area in a Final Fantasy game. And the next arc, you're saving her from being executed to interacting with a human. Where
Yeah.
basically humans are not interacting, giving her powers to a human. That was good story writing. Just like with Naruto, when he used to be the whole it's about story of acceptance. The first arcs I'm talking about, with the Great Naruto Bridge arc with Zabuza, Haku, the Chunin exam arc, Naruto. In the first arc where Naruto is like, he ain't your normal shonen hero back in the day. He
Yeah.
was like a person with struggles that kids want to fit in somewhere. He acts
It,
like a delinquent to get attention. He is
yeah.
hated by everyone because what happened when the nine-tailed fox was summoned to kill their village, and the nine-tailed fox for a long time was basically his burden before he made it into a blessing later on.
Yeah.
That's what I missed in Shonen. Yes, we got Shonen like Demon Slayer, where he wants to join a demon corps to slay all demons, to to avenge his family besides his sister, which was turned into a demon to save her. This is why many people like Demon Slayer, because of that. This is not like I need to become the strongest dude. I need to like stop this guy with the same old plot lines like DBZ, even though I have nostalgia in it.
So Ryan says Naruto didn't actually have a nine tails in him. He was just a Korean in Japan.
Just a Korean in Japan. Yup. That's what it's like. A
Yep.
minority. Which
That's
that
actually
reminds
true
me.
as well. Yeah.
About that. This is why in America it resonated with a lot of African American youth, including myself, because many African American youth, because they relate to the Naruto, because they were ostracized and need a place to belong, so they act up to get attention, because no one treated them with respect and they treat them with scorn. Feel me there?
Yeah. I mean, that was the reason why Naruto was always a soft spot for me. Like, of all the
Yeah.
ones that hooked me, like, got me, like, formative years of, like, getting back into anime, like, it's because it's really easy to root for the ostracized kid. Like,
Yeah.
and he puts on a happy face, even though deep down he's, like, really fucking, like, hurting and stuff.
Yeah.
And he manages to strike up unlikely friendship with the biggest emo in the fucking class. Like a lot of
Yeah.
people can relate, especially the demographic that they're going for, like the weeb, So
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Besides Demon Slayer and Spy X Family, I'm just in it because I like assassins and spy movies a bit.
yeah.
Because
Well,
I got
would you call it a 10 out of 10 though? Everyone's talking about
no.
Spy X Family as
It's
10
not
out
a
of 10.
it's not a 10 out of 10. It's a 7 out of 10.
Nice.
It's a good read as a manga. I read the manga before I experienced. That's how I heard of Spy Family, or Spy X Family,
Yeah.
because I read the manga before. I liked it. 8 out of 10. Not the best because it has problems, but it's unique.
Yeah.
They're adults for once, and it's an adorable little girl, and they're
Yeah.
likable. But it's not a 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 9.5. No, 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 no. It has
Yeah, seven's what
mistakes.
I've been hearing, yeah. From people who are just are honest about it. Yeah, 7 out of 10 is what I've heard.
7, 8 out of 10 out of best opinion though.
Yeah.
But that's just me. I just read the manga though, and I liked it. It's 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
It's not Holy Land by Morty Koji. That is a 10 out of 10. Eden, it's an endless world. That's a 10
Oh,
out of
Eden. Oh,
10.
yeah, Eden, yeah. I've heard about that. People told me to read
Battle
that.
Angel Alita series, the original 6 volumes and Last Order, and Martian Chronicle, 10 out of 10. Despite its mistakes, 9.5, 10 out of 10. Those are some Legend of the Galactic Heroes, 10 out of 10. Akira, in my
Definitely.
opinion, 10 out of 10. Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust, 9.5 out of 10. Natsuka Valley of the Wind, 10 out of 10. Mobile Suit Gundam, 79, 10 out of 10. What other
The
anime?
original. Yeah.
The original Gundam, yes. Final Fantasy
Okay.
Samurai Champloo, 9 out of 10. Cowboy Bebop, Trigun, Outlaw Star, 9.5 out of 10. Monster by Naoki Kurosawa, 9.5 out of 10. 21st
Sorry.
Century
What a
Boys
sour.
by Naoki Kurosawa. Not, I'm saying his name, Kurosawa. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know.
You
Urasawa,
met
yeah.
him. You met him.
Yeah, I met him, yeah.
Yeah. 9.5 out of 10. 21st Century Boys, 20th Century Boys. Macross Plus, 10 out of 10. Zeta, I haven't watched Zeta, but Double Zeta, I gave it like a 8 out of 10. Because back in the day, I was so into the 1 Year War. Yes, I was a 1 year
Did
war
you
fanboy
have you
back in the
seen
day.
War in Pocket? Gundam War in
Love
Pocket?
that crap. That's a 10 out. That's a 9.5 out of 10.
Definitely, yeah.
It actually deconstructs the Gundam franchise. Not even the robots could save that one, but it's still 10 out of 10. I watched Zeta, but I haven't watched Double Zeta, so I have no opinion of Double Zeta at all. Char's
Dun.
Counterattack, I give it a 9 out of 10.
Have you
Always
seen
MS Team, 9.5 out of 10.
Thunderbolt? Gundam Thunderbolt season one
Thunderbolt,
and two.
9.5. Season 1, 9.5 out of 10. Mobile Suit Gundam 00, Season 1, 9.5 out of 10. Leisner, 9 out of 10. Eureka 7, the first season, 9 out of 10. Princess Mononoke, 10 out of 10. See, like, did you see the chat here? People like listing 10 out of 10, 9 out of
What
10s and whatnot.
have you
Thanks to you,
have
like
you seen Gundam Stardust Memory?
Stardust Memory, 8.5 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 8.5. I like it for
Yeah,
its
that's my
mobile suit
second favorite.
battles.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's really good though.
Sorry,
9
that's
out
my
of
third favorite. I like Gundam. Sorry, I like War in Pocket, Gundam Origin, Stardust Memory. That's
Gundam
my
Origin,
order.
amazing. Like, basically, I give it a 9 out of
Yeah,
10. New Origin. Hathaway,
yeah.
a 9 out of 10 so far. It's not an anime. Let's hear, but here it goes. Avatar: The Last Airbender, 10 out of 10. 9.5 out of 10. My bad. Castlevania, Castlevania seasons 1, 2, and 4, or seasons 1 through 1 and 4, 9 out of 10. Seasons 2, 7, 8 out of 10. Season 4, season 3, 6 out of 10. Season 3 of Castlevania could go screw itself. Nearly
It
killed
was
it.
a set-up season, yeah.
Yes. Season 4, though, the final of Trevor's run, amazing. Build
Amazing, yeah.
off. Amazing fight scenes, 9 out of 10. Blood of Zeus, 9 out of 10. He-Man Revelations, 4 out of 10.
Oh, I knew you'd hate that.
I'm not the biggest He-Man fan, but it was so edgy, man. It ain't even funny.
I never thought He-Man would be edgy, but yeah, I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. But Blood of Zeus, amazing stuff. Don't know why people talking about it more, but come on. Why you hate Castlevania Season 2, dude? Explain why. Because of the Game of Thrones setup of Seasons 2 and 3? Because
Two was the
Seasons 1
best.
and 4... Seasons 1 and 4 felt to me like Castlevania the most. Without the castle.
Two
But
felt
still,
like Castlevania, especially the ending. When you
yeah.
go to the Dracula's castle and Alucard is with Cypher and is with
Yeah,
Trevor.
that
Like,
fight scene, the fight scenes were incredible in that one. But Season 3 was, my god, they try to be like Game of Thrones with that one, man. I hope
uh,
Nocturne fixes that, man. Like, it's about Trevor running around, traveling around chaos-driven Europe, fighting the darkness, aka vampires, demons, and whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I can see myself giving Three Gats in a Lion season 2 9 right now, but I have to finish season 2.
Blum, yeah, that's close to a 10 out of 10 with Blum, man, because Blum, the first volumes, had this amazing art style before the creator improved his art, but I loved his early art style of Blum because it's this really unique, bleak cyberpunk series.
You blame, you mean, yeah?
Blame, I call it Blum. Yeah, that's a good point
Why'd you?
there, because basically, in the Netflix lore of Castlevania, the speakers are well knowledge. They're known for their knowledge, but they're known as a bunch of people like travelers or something like that, Normax, that have all these knowledge and learn magic. So they're basically witches and wizards that travel around and have no destination to go. And probably on the way there, she probably read books and legends about the Belmonts, because in the games of Castlevania, the Belmont legacy started in Laminate of Innocence in 1000s, basically in the Dark Ages.
Yeah.
So they
I
before
mean,
the
let's be honest.
Netflix,
The games never had much of a story, so
yeah,
I'm
exactly.
not gonna
Yet
criticize on
yeah,
stuff like that if they take creative liberties. So
yeah. So they added. I just treat Netflix Castlevania as an alternative universe.
I need to watch Yamato Space Battleship Yamato.
Yeah. Oh, nah. I hated how they didn't introduce. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Isn't that Shaft? Not Shaft. Okay. What's that guy? Grant the Pirate, which they would have
Grant,
easily
yeah,
made. That's actually not the show writer's fault. It's actually the writer's fault, which is like known for like his edgy comic books. Warren Ellis. Thank God he's not working on that anymore. You can easily work Grant the Pirate as a bandit. That worked the same way as a bandit that took advantage but had a change of heart when he came across the protagonist. Ashita no Joe. I heard about that one,
that's
but
a
I haven't
10.
10. I heard that was a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, you would
Oh
love
yeah,
that. You would love that.
but you forget the first thing Trevor does in that game. Yeah, exactly. He was religious in the games because due to like Warren Ellis, aka the writer of the Castlevania Netflix first series, was anti-religious
Yeah,
and bashes Christians. Because let me just say that in Nocturne, Richter actually had his cross back onto his. He's got kind of like a bit more religious than you say than like the previous Netflix series, but I need to watch Nocturne to get my first opinions on it. I don't know about many of you guys, but I kind of like the Netflix series of Castlevania
Yeah, that's the best Castlevania we've gotten. Like, let's be
in
honest. Like,
years.
we never had we nobody played Castlevania for storytelling. Maybe the DS games people
The
played, but that's
DS
more fan
games,
service.
the GBA games, the Super Nintendo, and the NES games. No one
Yeah,
basically played the PS2 3D titles. Let's get me straight here. No one's
yeah.
heard of Hector, even though they screwed him over badly, which in the games he was a total badass, and I prefer Black Hector over what we got in the games. Have you seen Hector's game design solo? It was horrible.
Yeah, yeah.
You, yeah, because basically it's like Hector wasn't looking badass. He looks more like a cringe to me. He wasn't taken seriously at all. Yes, Isaac, yes. That's like the only race swap I approve at all.
Isaac was literally one of the most compelling characters by the time season 4
Yeah,
hit. Like, he was like an interesting Muslim character that
yeah.
we never see those
A
kind of characters
slave,
in Japan,
yes.
like a Japanese story. That like
It's
so
yeah. And that Isaac, why you prefer that Isaac even though he's like an emo that has like really creepy. Like basically really creepy, like those I don't want to get into it, but that Isaac just creeps me out, man.
yeah.
I know
He wanted to.
Castlevania's no
He was using all these demons and jinns to send people to Jahannam, Jahannam. But then he eventually realized that I don't want to just destroy stuff. I want to build something for the future, like for future
yeah. I'm
people.
not talking about
That
Netflix Castlevania
yeah.
Makenshi. I'm talking about the game one from like the
Oh, you're
Hector's
talking about
game base the game Hector.
the PS2 games, yeah.
Yes. Like that
Yeah,
Hector
PS2.
sucked.
Okay. Yeah.
He was like a generic villain that once decided track to destroy humanity, like an edge lord with like a BCADM whatever aesthetic to him, which is like
It's a
in the
shame because
manga,
the
dude.
artwork was so good.
The manga,
Like,
dude. The manga was okay, but we're talking about in the games here, dude. We're not talking about a manga tie-in with the game that no one barely read outside of Japan. And it's even Castlevania that has a following in Japan. I thought it's more popular in the West, but still, they wore robes before. But in the games after the manga or so, it's a mess. But I like Hector now in the game. But Netflix screwed Hector over, but improved Isaac for some reason.
they're doing Richter now, which is good. You can't fuck him up.
Richter,
Like,
don't please don't do it, dude. Don't give me false hope.
they only have one game to work from, so I don't think they can mess it
Two,
up.
make that two. Make
Yeah,
that two,
technically two.
basically.
Yeah,
Because Rondo of Blood, Symphony of the Night,
Symphony.
which they're
Yeah,
going to bring back Alucard as a whole. And those two games are considered the best in the series. So, and one
yeah.
of the
For me,
women
those
is
two are the best.
yeah, because those games those are some fun games. But I like the Soma series, the Soma duology, the Sorrow series of Castlevania games. Those are my favorite. Haven't beat them, but they were amazing. The Soma games. Dawn of Sorrow, Area of Sorrow, which I played Area of Sorrow to death, and I haven't beaten yet. I just like exploring I like the Igarashi era Castlevania games
Yeah,
because you can
Igarashi.
explore the castle and whatnot.
Yeah, the Order of Ecclesia as well.
Yes, but I like Netflix Mania because it was the most Castlevania content we got in years, and Konami couldn't do crap about it. They're not even taking advantage of making a new Castlevania game. Oh yeah, too busy making other stuff besides video games now, but
It's
not
weird
even
because
Dawn of
uh,
Star.
they gave Castlevania to that Mercury Steam, and it wasn't too well received. But now Mercury Steam have made the Metroid Dread sequel, which is amazing, which got like Game of the Years and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
they could give Castlevania to that team now, because that team has actually got some talent there now.
yeah. Mercury Steam. The first game I heard of Lords of Shadow, I heard was really amazing. Not the
It
second
was
game
really
though.
good.
Like
Second one was
basically,
terrible.
yes. Forget the second one. Just the first one was there. Same here, dude. I don't want another He-Man Revelations and whatnot. They don't know what to do with Castlevania. What they could do is, you heard of Julius Belmont. If you don't know, Google him.
Yeah.
Because it's a really big plot point they did not show in the games. This really huge moment where the Belmonts finally killed Dracula. Yeah. And about that with video games, most people, if video games can be adapted into amazing story adaptations, but people don't respect video games. Metroidvania genre, dude. We don't. People just want a Castlevania game, dude. Metroidvania style with some nice 3D graphics. Vampire War of '99, especially that with some story. Like in
Yeah.
the first part, before you get into the castle, you fight your way through an army because that was Dracula's height of his power. You just fight through his army, then you go through his castle, Igarashi style, and oh my god, we need to end this soon. I forgot. We went overboard with the
Yeah, and I need to head
podcast.
off soon. Yeah,
Yeah, and I need to hang. I'm running out of things to say, but
but it
before
was
we
awesome. Yeah.
yeah, before we continue, before we continue, I need to end this. Let me just say, I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. It's good to be back. I'll probably invite some more people soon. Just need to let people know, reach out and whatnot, and arrange a time because I'm really busy with school and life. And 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 also, if you like this video, like the video. If you have a comment, leave a comment in the comment box below the video. Don't forget to share this video and subscribe, and hit that blue button after you subscribe for notifications and whatnot. Any last words before we sign off for the night because we lost track of time?
Yeah. Any last words? No, no last words. But Solo, I don't know. Is Solo one of your subscribers, Omega?
Yes, he was.
Oh yeah, sorry. His picture is of 20th Century Boys, which I actually read and I thought it was fucking dope. So I was just gonna
Same here, dude.
mention
I
it.
love
Yeah.
Naoki Urasawa's work.
Yeah.
He's an underrated in the West, man. He was so underrated in the
Definitely.
West.
Pluto,
Good
the
manga
anime adaptation's
storytelling.
coming soon.
Didn't you told me a story about when you asked him a question about your opinions on moe anime, and his opinion was something like, I forgot what he said to you through translator.
So he one. I think he mainly said that he wants people to buy physical manga more, and he also said that he hates the way they draw noses in anime, which is I thought was fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
Like they always draw retarded noses in thing.
yeah,
That's
they
why he
cut
makes it.
corners a line. That's why he
Yes,
draws
that's
a
why
nose. I
he's
just realized that.
yeah.
Yeah, Donkey
That's
Duzzle
why
didn't
his
like
characters
how.
look so unique, because they look like real people. They don't look like real people, but they look like they have personality. Is what it is. So,
Yeah, exactly. And
yeah.
Solo said,
But
"Hey, glad to help." But basically, yes, he's one of my subscribers, not yours. I really
so yeah,
appreciate the
I
people
thought
coming
he
out.
came off. I thought he came off the vlog for the Urasawa thing, or the reaction. Sorry, yeah. So
Yeah, because till then, people, thanks for dropping by. Sayonara.